Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Community Catalyst Podcast. I am your host, Lynn Boyer. I am the Executive Director of Community Impact here at the YMCA of Greater Nashua. And joining me today to share about his organization is Andrew Morin from ReGenerative Roots Association. So, hello, Andrew. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. So first, please share with us and our guests your organization, how it came about, where it is, and who it serves.
Thank you for having me on. I'm Andrew Morin, the Executive Director of the ReGenerative Roots Association. Um, Organization started about a decade ago. A group of high school friends and myself wanted to change the world. We started ReGenerative Roots, and then we realized that we had to scale back a little bit and start administering some programming, grassroots programming in the community, mostly in the Nashua region. 8 years ago, we started our community farms program, where we lease land to refugees and young entrepreneurs, essentially provide free land, educational opportunities, and other resources like tools and seed for people that are usually food insecure to grow their own food in a positive environment while also being able to interact with their new neighbors. Right now, we currently operate a 7-acre farm in Hudson, New Hampshire, where we lease land to 10 different refugees, primarily from Burundi and the Congo, and they live in Nashua. So we're on pace to hopefully grow in between 10 and 20,000 pounds of food each year. And the only requirement to utilize space is 10% has to be donated to another local organization addressing food insecurity, such as the Nashua Children's Home, which is one of been consistent recipients over the years. About the same time, we also started 8 years ago our farm to school programs. We have pretty active programs at Nashua High North and Alvern, and we're starting to revive the program at Nashua High South that was shut down, unfortunately, due to COVID. We hold a spring after school gardening program along with a sustainable agriculture summer internship, able to teach kids how to grow healthy food at gardens that are on site and orchards that are on site. So those two are our most long established programs. I started working full time for ReGen Roots about 2 years ago, and during that time, we've been able to expand pretty considerably. We also run a food pantry now. Every Sunday, we receive about 1,000 pounds of food that goes to 20 different families and also some other collaborative organizations, such as the Greater Nashua United Way and the Nashua Center. So that's been great. Every single week we do that. We're looking to expand that food pantry operation. We are also started the plant share, which we were happy to partner with the Y. This is our either their second or third year doing the plant share, where we distribute tomato and pepper seedlings, typically vegetables, a couple thousand of collaborative partners to a couple hundred community members in Nashua, and then we subsequently hold a food drive in September so the community members can bring back some of their produce to help support the food pantry I just mentioned. And lastly, a program that we're really, really excited about that we've been administering or developing for the past 3 years is the Food Forest Project. And in that program, we raise fruit and nut trees at our nurseries in Nashua and Ware, New Hampshire, that are subsequently planted in orchards and food forests around New England. So the ultimate goal of the program is within the next decade to plant 10,000 healthy fruit trees around New England, which will actually amount to 1 million pounds of local food produced for 30 to 50 years. Yeah, those are our major programs now. And we also hold some educational and community events that are associated with such.
Great. So just a little busy.
I try to be, but
Yeah.
I also try to use the term full because I feel like busy denotes almost an anxiety, and I try to live a full life. But constantly moving forward, but not in a frantic pace.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. Yeah, so as you mentioned, we partnered recently with the seed handout. How many seeds did you guys give out when you were here?
So we were able to at the National Y, I believe it was around 800. And overall with the program, we distributed 3,500 seedlings. About half of those are from Lowell Farm, and where half were actually donated to us from New Hampshire Gleans.
Great.
So we actually did distributions also with Dartmouth Health and with the Club National. And we did a small one with Enterprise Bank. Yep.
Great. Yeah, and it was definitely very successful here. We did it as part of our Healthy Kids Week initiative, which I think went over very, very well. I can share that my peppers are doing great. They're thriving in my garden, which is amazing. So that's one way that we partnered recently. And you and I have talked about as well, having ReGen Roots possibly revamp some of our gardens. So we had a vegetable garden at Camp Sargent for a while that could use some revitalization. And then we have had one here in the past in Nashua. So I look forward to partnering with you on that. As well as, and I haven't mentioned this to you yet, Andrew, but one of my initiatives for the next year is to have a food pantry. So I'd love to collaborate with you on that as well. I think it's a great need for our community. So one of my other responsibilities here at the Y is in the area of DEI or JEDI. What really attracted me toward ReGen Roots was hearing about the different DEI efforts that you do through your organizations, especially with immigrants, as well as food insecurity. So I love that, and I really look forward to us partnering some more in the future. I think it'll be a great collaboration. So
Oh, I
yeah, it's
appreciate all
wonderful.
those. I know also just to piggyback on what you just said, one of the things that you like to touch upon is what we would like the rest of the community to know. And beyond just Camp Sargent, which we hope we're able to develop a orchard and or food forest there, is we're always looking for local sites where people are interested in planting orchards and or food forests. So, for
Yeah,
example, this fall we're planting an orchard at the National Historical Society and Beaverbrook and Hollis.
great.
Um, so that's something that we're already always really interested in. And also every year, as part of the Food Forest Project, we do an apple tree giveaway. So residential growers, if they go onto our website, regenerative-roots.org, they're able to win up to 4 free apple trees just for their own residential growing.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. What's something that you're most proud of that your organization has accomplished?
I think that the ReGen Roots team is most satisfied and happy when thinking reflectively, especially over the past 3 years, that we've been able to really establish ourselves as a sustainable organization. So we're growing and also administering multifaceted programming, which touches upon different components of the food system. So I think that the fact that we were able to get over the really difficult initial grassroots first couple of years, and now we have more established programming that's able to make a direct and quantifiable impact on the community, makes us happy.
Great. Do you have any volunteer opportunities available?
We have a bunch of volunteer opportunities available. The easiest way is either to reach out directly or follow us on Facebook because we post volunteer opportunities. We also have volunteer events. So we have different opportunities available for different people of different skill levels and or interest in time. So they can range from helping us with an online marketing campaign to being a person that wants to water one of the school gardens once a week, to potentially doing a pickup for the food pantry. So depending on what a person's interested in, so what part of our program, I'm helping volunteer when we do a plant share giveaway, like we did at the Y. So there's a lot of different opportunities that we do have available. Yep.
Yeah, great. Yeah, and then we had Togetherhood that helped you that day, or those 2 days rather, which was awesome because it was just great to have them involved as well. So, great. Is there one thing that you wish everybody could take away from our conversation today about ReGen Roots?
If One thing that I'd like to take away for ReGen Roots is once again just to reiterate the food forest program, looking for orchards and really if people are interested in growing in their own backyard. Another that I'd like to take away generally is it was only about a decade ago that I started thinking about the food system, and just back of the napkin math, just Nashua, the city of Nashua, to feed its residents, needs approximately 100 million pounds of food a year, which means that every single week, 2 million pounds of food are trucked into Nashua. And New England only produces 10 to 15% of the food that we currently consume. So, despite being one of the wealthiest places in the world, it really struck our team when we were originally founding ReGen that there was that disconnect from our food supply and from what we think is actually happening. And it's really only happened over the past three generations since World War II. So I guess that's kind of the background of what's kind of driving our interest and passion in trying to, I guess, nurture a more equitable and productive food system.
Yeah. No, that's great. And I think that's a great thing to do for the community. I think it's a great thing to do for this next generation as well. As farms sort of unfortunately die out around here, it's important for them to understand where their food comes from. So,
Put it into perspective, there's 4,000 farms in New Hampshire. It sounds like a lot. There's only 400 farms that have revenues of over $50,000. So that's
wow.
not even counting expenses. So really, there's only 400 full-time farms in a really wealthy state with over 1 million people.
Right. Wow. Yeah. Great. Well, thank you so much for joining me today and in educating our guests and our audience on what it is that you do, but also, like you said, the farming industry and food industry in New Hampshire. I very much look forward to expanding our partnership. We've only been in talks for 6 months or so. So I look forward to expanding that and working with you in the future. And for everybody else, for our guests, please check out ReGen Roots on Facebook, online. Um, Look out for another seed handout probably next spring, and hopefully some food for an upcoming food pantry.
And I had one more before we leave.
Yes.
We have a cornhole tournament. I believe it's Saturday, July 20th at Spyglass Brewery, and also a golf tournament mid-August if anyone wants to come by and help support us while having a good time. Both of those can be found on our website.
Yes, you might see me at the cornhole tournament. I got to check my schedule, but it's a favorite pastime. Awesome. Thank you so much, Andrew, for coming and being my guest today. And thank you to the Community Catalyst audience for watching and listening. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.